What's going on, people? We are Tottenham TV, back here for another Tottenham update. A bit of a slow news day here at We Are Tottenham TV, but we'll get into the stuff that we do have, starting off with Ange Postecoglou. Dan Kilpatrick talking about Ange's start to life at Tottenham Hotspur, and he says, during Ange Postecoglou's first team meeting at Tottenham, the Australian reminded his players that this is the start of a new era and stressed his determination to play entertaining and attacking football. The staff at the training ground report that Ange Postecoglou is charismatic, affable, professional and single-minded. Despite his fondness for the using the word mate, he has already memorised the names of almost every member of staff, taking some by surprise, and he has no time for small talk. However, he is fiercely authentic. He immediately knocked back some quirkier ideas from the online content announcing him to the first team, but he didn't feel that was right. So what do you think?
Fiercely authentic. I've never heard that phrase before. Fiercely authentic. No, but it sounds like he's making an impression, which is good. I mean, to be honest, whenever a new manager comes in, we always get articles like this. When we heard when Conte came in, the training was revolutionary. It was unbelievable. The players couldn't believe it. When Mourinho came in, it was, you always hear
80 months down the line, they say they're fed up of the lack of attacking coaching. This time it'll be they're fed up of the lack of defensive coaching.
So I take little notice, to be honest, when of these kind of things. It's and also not.
You're not impressed that he's memorising all the names of staff?
Unbelievable. He remembers the members of staff's names. Incredible. I can't believe it. No, look, we know that Ange is a great character. He seems like a great person as well. He seems like a person who's very likable, and I'm sure that his charisma is going to rub off on the team. And I'm sure the fact that there was all doom and gloom and a dictatorship last season under Conte, and he's going to try to lift that. I read in the article as well. It's still undecided whether Ketchup and mayonnaise is going to make a return to the Tottenham training ground or not.
He's still deciding. He's still
up in
deciding.
the air. I don't know how he does. He doesn't know how much credit he wants from the players, but
he's trying to keep Tanguy and Ndombele on side. That's
exactly. He wants that revival. So I don't know. Look, I'm glad that he's making an impression. The noises are good, but I think always when a new manager comes in at any club, they always noise is usually very. They're never going to pump out negative things right at the beginning, are they? Yeah. So I'm glad. I'm sure Ange is going to be popular among the players and the staff, but we'll see how he gets on what they're saying in a year or so around the training ground.
Yeah, absolutely right. Let's move on and let's talk about Tanguy and Ndombele. Dan Kilpatrick says there is already fresh optimism that Ndombele could have a lifeline under Postecoglou. When the Frenchman was last at Hotspur, where he was forced to train alone or with the under-23s by Antonio Conte, but he has been fully involved this week. So much to your delight, the Ndombele Revival is here.
Yeah, I mean, not yet, I don't think. Look, I think they're basing that on the fact that he's actually
training with the first team.
He's training now as opposed to last year. He's not training. As I said, I do think that I would be willing to give it another go. I think the quality in the player is undoubted. We just need to be able to make sure that either his flaws are getting covered or that he works them significantly to get to a stage where it's not costing the team drastically. I would argue that his potential upside outweighs the downside of his lack of ability off the ball. If we can develop the system and get better defenders in the back line, and we develop the system to a situation where we're actually keeping a lot more of the ball, and even when we lose the ball, we can hound the opposition so we're not losing it for too much, and we're actually quite a good possession-based team, and someone like Ndombele constantly has options when he has the ball. I really think have the upside of having a player with his ability on the ball in the team would be significant, in my opinion. And I think that if we are going to go to a more attacking style of play, we need more technical players. As much as I do think our midfield, we have some good midfielders, we don't have, apart from Maddison now, we don't have players with real elite technical ability. And that's something that he has. And if he can bring that to our midfield, I think it could really take us up a notch when we're in possession. There are going to be drawbacks with his off-the-ball play, but as I say, if that can be kind of covered, or he can improve that, I think it's well worth the risk.
Yeah, look, I think you're right in what you're saying about the talent that he does have and the talent that this squad needs. That's absolutely true. But I just question whether he can bring the fundamentals and the other side of the game on the pitch for Tottenham Hotspur on a consistent basis. But like I've said many a time, I want him sold. But if Ange is going to give him a go, then I'm going to back it 100%. And whatever this manager wants, we need to back with full enthusiasm as well. So let's see what happens with Tanguy and Ndombele. Next up, we're going to talk about Davinson Sanchez. And there are reports in Russia from the Russian Sport Express saying that Davinson Sanchez's agent has confirmed that Spartak Moscow are interested in the player. Spartak is really interested in Sanchez, but so far there has been nothing specific. That's what the quotes were from Davinson's agent.
Going over to Russia, I don't know if that's the best move right now
Yeah.
for any player, but to be honest, I'll take any money from anywhere right now for Sanchez. Surely no Saudi team interested. They're buying here, there, everyone from here, there, and everywhere. Yet we can't seem to take any interest from Saudi. It just shows
the caliber of player that are going over to Saudi are much better than Davinson Sanchez.
Unfortunately, I'm not really bothered where he goes. Hopefully, he finds some.
As long as he goes out the exit door, that's all we care.
That's the most important thing. I don't think he's going to be able to play under Postecoglou's way of playing, which is going to be much more focused.
Which way of playing can he play? He couldn't play Conte or Jose's either.
Yeah, great. Somewhat. I don't know. Maybe. I don't know. Not in the Premier League. I don't think.
Russian football. That's where he's suited to.
I think maybe he'd be more suited to a league in France, maybe. I just think, especially with Postecoglou's focus going to be on defenders having the ball and being composed and breaking the lines and things like that, he just won't be up to it. So we need to get rid of him.
Yeah, absolutely. And next up, there are some really interesting quotes from Richarlison coming out about last season, about Harry Kane as well. So we'll start off with the ones talking about last season and Antonio Conte. And he said, I had some fights with Conte for not having a sequence. We decide inside in the changing room. I gave up talking in the interview that I needed time. Then I apologised and told him that he could punish me. He gave me a hard time to show the group firmness, that he was still in charge. It's his way of dealing with the group. He almost spent 2 hours just scolding me in front of everyone here. The club signed me. They spent a lot of money. Even with some stress I had there in the first season, I don't have much to complain about. I just owe them. And then when talking about Harry Kane, he says, a guy who scored 30 goals and we managed to stay at 8th place at the table, something you can't believe. With a guy like that on your team, it was supposed to fight for the top of the table, fighting for the title. We players lack ambition. We have to change that as soon as possible.
Absolutely right. And I think that's what Conte was saying. The players themselves lack ambition. I think that's what he was going crazy about for a lot of the season. But in terms of, what he was saying about his confrontation with Conte, I remember right after that AC Milan game, he said, it's been a shit season, and Conte said he was going to pick me, and he didn't pick me in the end. He ended up dropping me, and now he got frustrated.
And Conte was well in the thing was like, he's right. It's been a shit season.
Yeah, exactly. So I can understand Richarlison's frustration in that moment. I don't think it's right for him to air his dirty laundry in public like he did. So I understand Conte going mad. I'm sure there's a bit of hyperbole when he says 2 hours. I don't imagine Conte just standing there for 2 hours actually shouting.
To be honest, I can't imagine it, to be honest.
I don't know if it was that. It can't be 2 hours. It's probably a bit of hyperbole. But I do imagine it was probably a lengthy scolding, which is probably what he's alluding to. And that's obviously not nice.
So almost 2 hours.
Almost 2 hours. I don't know. We'll have to.
1 hour and 50 minutes it was.
We'll never have it confirmed how long it actually was. But it's interesting because at that moment, Conte had just been in Italy for the surgery. We'd been on some good form. Then he came back. And then the form started to dip, and then obviously we exited the Champions League during that period. And he said he wanted to show firmness to show that he was still in charge. So clearly that goes to show for me that at that point he started to lose control of the dressing room, which we know because the results really flew out the window at that point and ended up leaving.
Was the the Southampton game was his last game?
That was his last game. So the AC Milan game was a few games before that. It wasn't too much before that. So clearly Conte must have felt he was losing the dressing room at that point, and he felt he had to do something drastic, it seems, and we all know how it ended, and we all know how that last, but that resonates with why he was saying all he was saying in that last press conference about the players, and because he felt like he was losing control and they weren't listening to him, and that's clearly evidence of what Richarlison is saying there. Yeah,
it's interesting that he does say that, the players have lacked ambition as well, which is just crazy to think about. How can players just lack ambition? You're a professional football player playing in that stadium week in, week out, earning those wages that you're earning, playing under a manager like Antonio Conte, who's been there, done it and won it all, playing with players like Harry Kane, who's never going to lose ambition. Why are these players so quickly losing ambition under every tenure?
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy to think about. And it's not even just that, because there's probably newer players as well he must be referring to. It can't just be the older ones as well. So I don't know what obviously it must be something to do with the culture at Tottenham. It's something we've spoken about a lot, isn't it? The culture and the environment at Tottenham Hotspur. And that must be something he's alluding to. Him himself had a terrible season. So look, I'm glad that he said that publicly, but like, why does it takes him now to acknowledge it, yet when we have a world-class manager here, none of the players seem to take that on board, and it leads to him ending his tether. I guess you can ask, was it the chicken or the egg in terms of like what came first? Did Tottenham lack ambition, and that's why Conte lost his rag, or did they lose ambition because Conte was going mad at them all the time?
They probably got tired of the defensive training, and they were like, we need some attacking training, please.
Yeah, I mean, for what? But I don't understand that mentality.
Yeah, me neither. But that's been the
sense.
mentality since Pochettino has left Spurs.
Yeah, literally.
Or even whilst Pochettino was here.
Especially, at the end of Pochettino's reign as well, a lot of these players have been throwing the managers under the bus at different times. So it's been very frustrating. But I really hope with Big Ange here, it's a change in environment and mentality next season. I don't expect, like, in terms of mentality-wise, like we're going to become winners all of a sudden. But I just want if they're going to be more on board with the football, then I don't want to see performances like last season when they clearly weren't giving 100%.
Yeah. Let's talk about Scott Munn now. Matt Law says that Scott Munn's official start as CFO at Tottenham has been delayed, caused at the Manchester City end. He had meant to start on July the 1st, but there has no new start date as of yet. And Ali Gold pretty much just echoed that as well in a tweet as well. So nobody knows when Scott Munn is officially going to start, but we all know he has already started. So what's the difference?
Yeah, fantastic. Yeah, it's official start date. I guess he can give a consultation, but he can't do any work apparently. Just like
consultation by flying all around the world to try and sign players and stuff like that.
He's just consulting. Yeah. He's flying away to consult.
Of course
he's not doing anything. Just like Paratici, he's not doing anything as well.
Yeah.
It's a bit of a mess. It seems like classic Tottenham. Nothing's ever easy. Even just getting Scott Munn to start work is probably apparently not easy. But I'm sure it will get sorted and it'll be water under the bridge once he starts. But it's a bit frustrating. What do you mean Man City side? We got him from City?
He not from Manchester City, but he was employed by the City Group.
Right. So why they is what it is. What can we say? Yeah. Why is it only coming up now? Why is it only becoming an issue now? It's a bit bizarre.
Yeah. On July the 7th.
Why didn't they know before he wasn't going to start on this day? Whatever.
But this is a week after he was supposed to start.
Yeah, it's a bit crazy. So only finding out now that for the last week he hasn't been working, essentially.
But he has.
But he hasn't. He hasn't officially.
And last but not least, apparently Roma are set to pull out of the pre-season tour in Asia. Roma are set to scrap plans to travel to Asia for pre-season due to a failure to receive the necessary payments from the organisers to make the trip. Tottenham was scheduled to face Roma in Singapore, but it could be scrapped if this cancellation goes ahead as expected. And I was reading an article about it on Football London as well that Ali Gold did, and he said Tottenham have not had any issues with payments or anything like that, so their tour is well and truly going ahead.
Interesting. I wonder why they would have no issues with Spurs, but with Roma.
Daniel Levy's a shrewd operator.
Yeah, Levy ain't pulling no punches. He's either money or not coming, so maybe they wanted the money up front, and maybe we took Roma's portion of the money. I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if Levy negotiated that.
And then Jose Mourinho's going, "Damn you, Daniel!"
Look, who knows what will happen? Maybe it will get sorted in the end. But right now, it's a bit of a strange situation. I've never seen anything like that. One team has got the money and the other team hasn't.
Yeah. Also, what the article said that if Roma do pull out, then they will look to find a new team to come over to Singapore to play Spurs. I wonder if it will be like a team in and around the area that are there on a pre-season tour. We'll play like the Singapore national team or something like that. I don't know. But we'll have to see how that one pans out as well. Yeah. But look, that is your Tottenham update for today. Have a good weekend, everyone. If If you don't know already, by the way, me and Sim are opening a brand new channel called On The Ball. We'll put the link in the description below. Please do go over there and hit that subscribe button. New content will be coming on there very, very soon, and we'll be covering leagues from around Europe, the rest of the Premier League as well. So very much looking forward to that. So please hit that subscribe button. We'll see you all very soon. Like, subscribe and comment. And as always, come on you Spurs.